to Time Management for Beginning Teachers. So happy to have you. I'm glad that you've chosen this as one of your sessions. And one of the first things that I'm going to need you to do is to open up the participants guide because that's going to have a lot of the links and it's going to help reinforce some of the information in this presentation. So you can find it at bit.ly/BT for beginning teacher and then time. It is case sensitive, so make sure you have a capital B and then two capital T's and then the rest of the word time. All right, so if you need to pause the video to go ahead and get that open, do so now. Otherwise, I'm going to keep going. So our objective for today is we're going to gain a better understanding of time management techniques. So we're going to have some strategies, some tips, some tricks to help you with your time management. And then this is our agenda. So we're going to talk a little bit about the compass, the importance of time management, how to get organized, and we're going to focus on three avenues of how to organize yourself. One is the physical classroom environment, then your computer or technology, and then finally your systems and processes. We're going to talk about how to get ahead on your planning and how important that is, utilizing help, self-care, and then we'll wrap it up. So you've probably seen this meme, which is very popular out there. There are two types of teachers. But maybe there are four types of teachers. So I'm going to encourage you in just a moment to pause this video and open up our compass activity. It should take no more than 3 minutes to complete it and find out if you are a north, east, south, or west, or some combination of the four. You can find the compass activity at the bit.ly BT, again, capital for beginning teacher, then compass with a capital C, and activity with a capital A. So if you need to pause right now, go ahead and do that, take the quiz, and then come back to us. So hopefully at this point you've completed the compass activity and you found out which direction you point. And you may have two. You may be a northeast or a southwest. It's okay to have two, but focus really on that main one, the one that you're thinking you're identifying with most, using the descriptions on the slide. And then also pay attention to the secondary one as we talk about that one, because you'll probably fall into both categories. So if you had mostly A's, you're a north, mostly B's is south, mostly C's is east, and mostly D's would be west. So let's start with our north. So these are our natural leaders, goal-centered, fast-paced, and that's probably the main one for this one. They want to go fast, and they are task-oriented and get her done. So this type of person may be one that is good at starting a task list, and they're excited about their organization, but then they get going, and they move so quick that they forget all about their systems and their task list. They're just making it happen. It's really important for our North people to schedule their processes to keep themselves organized and slow themselves down. That's the big one. Slow it down. Find ways to slow yourself down. And then we have East. Now, our East are natural planners. They are quality centered, organized, and focused. And the big one there is organized. So this time management is going to come very easy to this group of people. My only warning for them, because I am one, so I can totally relate, is don't get too bogged down in the details and in the perfecting and the organizing that you never get to the executing part. You have to know when good is good enough and when you need to move forward. Don't overcomplicate things, because I'm a big overcomplicator. I can definitely share that. And then South. South is process-centered, non-confrontational, sensitive, and slow-paced. So they're kind of that polar opposite to the North, who's fast-paced. Our South is slow-paced. This group is going to need balance in their lives more so than any of the others. And they may have the most difficult time with organizing their time management. So My advice for you is to set rules and goals for yourself and stick to them. Prioritize your deadlines. You may even need an East as your accountability partner. And then finally, our West. They are natural risk takers, innovative, flexible, they're visionaries, and they are creative. So, whereas our East was very organized, very quality centered, our Wests are very creative and innovative. So, this person would do really well with bullet journaling. If you don't know about bullet journaling and you're a West, definitely look into it. Are pretty disc planners. They need to find a unique and creative approach to time and task management that's going to make it work for them and that's going to kind of make it their own. Now, also, as you look at these, it might be interesting to have some of your teammates take this Compass activity quiz and find out what they are. So then it might help you as you're working with people in your PLCs or your grade levels or your teams to understand each other better. And it might give you, a little more patience as you're working with each other. So moving on, here are some of the benefits of time management. It's going to decrease your stress, increase your focus, because if you don't have a million things going on in your mind, you can focus on what you're doing at that moment. Going to give you time back. Think of all the time we spend looking for things. If you're organized with your physical environment and with your technology, you're finding things quickly. You're not spending all that time looking. Better relationships. And when you're less stressed and less things going through your head, you're better able to focus on those relationships and be present in them. Increased productivity. You can get more done with less time. And time for self-care, which is so important. So as I mentioned, we're going to focus on 3 areas: your physical environment, your computer or your technology, and then the processes and systems that can help you get more organized. So here are some ideas for organizing your physical environment. First and foremost, have a place for everything. Label everything. Us teachers, we do love labels. Utilize large tubs. I love large tubs. You can put all your tissue supply in them and then put them up on top of your cabinets or your cubbies. You can put everything that goes in a unit in a big tub and put it up. You want to, even if you're not organized, you don't want to give the perception that you're not, because it might lead to someone thinking, you don't have it all together. So at least create the perception, and those big tubs are a great way to do that. Get things up, out of the way, label the tub, and then it's clear and clutter free. And then sort your materials by the days of the week, and you can see a picture of that here. And you see this in a lot of classrooms, but I really love it. And get rid of the useless clutter. And this isn't as much of a problem right now since you're a beginning teacher, but as you are in the career for a long amount of time, you're going to collect a lot of stuff. So you've got to know when you need to purge, because you don't want to, have everything for every possible activity that could possibly pop up. No, get it out. And if you need something, find a way to get it, ask for donations or look for good deals. So next, how to organize your computers. And I can really geek out over this, so I'm going to try not to. And you guys are watching the video, so you can't even cue me to cut it off. But emails. I am a strong proponent for having just 2 folders. Now, when I was a first year teacher, I think I had a folder for every student. I had so many folders in my email. And with years, I've learned there's no point. When I want to search for something, I search by keyword. I don't even look in the folder. So have your to-do and your incubate folders. The to-do folder are the things that need to be done before you leave for the day. The incubate folder is for emails that need a little more time. So maybe the direct-to-teacher communications, articles that have been sent to you. Have a time once a week to dig into your incubate emails. And it doesn't have to be a lot of time. 30 minutes might do it. And then have a time every day to make sure your to-do folder is cleared out before you leave for the day. So Everything else is going to get archived. The goal is to have your inbox be completely empty. And then you don't have to worry about important emails getting buried under a pile of other emails. Now, another alternative is to pin the emails that you need to come back to. And then they pile up and they're kind of annoying. So you're like, please let me deal with this pinned email so I can get it out of there. But that is another option, to pin your emails. You can also flag them, but I still seem to lose my flagged emails. Um, Another tip is to use Boomerang, the Boomerang add on. It will resend an email back to you if you don't get a response within a certain amount of days or hours. It will help you schedule emails to go out at a later date. Let's say you're doing a newsletter for parents and you want it to go out at a certain time, you can schedule it. It will also pause your email for the weekend, which can be a really good thing to just really unplug for yourself. Make sure you have the Zoom add on in your email. And I really encourage you to avoid putting your work email on your personal phone. So now let's move into bookmarks. I love bookmarks. Assuming you use Chrome, which why wouldn't you? Use short names for your bookmarks because that is valuable real estate up there at the top of your browser. So, and then create folders and subfolders for everything. Now, if it's a site you go to often, like maybe it's your Google Drive or maybe it's your email, when you go to save the bookmark, if you delete the name, it's only going to leave you with that little picture icon for the website, which can again save you some space up at the top when you want to, be able to bookmark and have quick access to lots of things up there. Consider a to-do bookmark folder where I keep tabs open and I keep opening and I've got a million tabs opening because I know if I close them, I'm never going to remember to go back to it. So if you have that to-do folder, you can close out all those tabs, put them in the to-do folder. Just make sure you're cleaning out that folder maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks. Then reevaluate your folders and check for dead links twice a year. Put it in your calendar so that it's definitely something that you'll get to. And you can pin, now this is not really a bookmark, but you can pin tabs in place on the browser bar. So you could right click on a tab and pin it. And then every time, let's say you want your email and your Google Drive, every time you open Chrome to be there. If you pin them, every time you shut down and then bring it back up, those pinned tabs will automatically reopen for you, which is nice. Extensions and apps. I know the slide doesn't say apps, but we got to throw apps in there too. Play around in the Chrome Web Store. There's CMS specific extensions in there. There's a lot of great apps in there. Pin your favorite extensions in the top right corner. You'll see that little puzzle piece. And if you pin it, those will line up right at the top for you. And then you can also have the unpinned ones that maybe you don't use as much that are there. If you just click on the puzzle piece, you can access them. Make sure you have the CMS Canvas template extension pinned on your extensions. Sir Links a Lot is a great one. If you don't have that one, it's really good for forced copies. And then the confetti one, I don't think it'll let me do it right now. Let me try. No. Control B. Once you get the confetti app, every time you hit Control B, you will get this fun explosion of confetti, which is really fun when you're projecting your computer onto your smart TV or your Promethean board. The kiddos will love it. And there's a lot more in Clever. Search around for all the apps that are in there because there's some gold inside there. And then Google Drive. Now, I think older people probably struggle with Google Drive more so than some of you youngsters out there, but I struggled with Google Drive at the beginning, like the My Drive versus the shared with me, and I would alter things that was shared with me and they weren't mine. So just be careful of that. If you don't know about it, you probably already do. Make folders and color code them in your Google Drive. You can put in your schedule to reorganize your Google Drive again twice a year, and star your frequently used documents in Google Drive. All right, so next, organizing your processes and systems. Research shows that teachers make 1,500 decisions a day, and I think it's more than that. And it's exhausting not only for our minds, but it also takes a toll on our bodies. So, task lists allow you to take things out of your head. Once you have your task list and a system for executing your tasks, your mind can be clear. You need to capture all the things that you consider incomplete into some kind of trusted system out of your mind. Now, Getting Things Done is a great book if you need a summer read that really talks and really dives deeper into this. Now, on the right side of the screen, you're going to see some platforms, some digital platforms that you can use to keep track of your tasks. And there's a lot more than you even see here. I love Notability. It is $9, but if you have an iPad with an iPad pencil, it lets you write. It lets you convert your writing to text. It lets you take pictures. It lets you record. It does a lot of fun things. So it's a really great thing to have. And with the iPad or with any system that you're using, the more you can carry it around with you and write down things the second they come into your mind, the better. And if that is some kind of system where you can also take anecdotal notes, let's say it's a paper pencil planner, maybe there's a section in there for notes where you can, as you're seeing things with your students, jot it down. And again, that's getting things out of your mind. You don't have to keep looping trying to remember things. Let me see. Then on the left, you see the option for in Office 365 email to keep notes. So if you scroll down in Office email on the left, you're going to see this notes section. You can color code them and everything. And then there's also the task list. It's at the bottom of the page in Office 365. And it's a lot better than it used to be. For those of you that tried it out a few years ago and it wasn't very user friendly, it is now. So if you haven't played with that in a while, it's a really good tool to use. Next, and I don't know if I mentioned it, the picture in the middle of the screen is an example of a happy planner. And next, make a schedule, even for self-care. Consider having theme days, such as Monday, you're going to plan out your literacy. Tuesday, you're going to plan out your math. Wednesday, you're going to plan your social studies. Thursday, your science. And then Friday, grade. Have a don't touch it twice rule if you can help it. This goes for papers, emails, anything. If you can just go ahead and put something directly away, do it. If it's an email, try to deal with it right then as much as you can, whether it's just putting it in a folder or archiving it, but try to deal with it. Also, if a task or an email is going to take less than 3 minutes, do it. Just get it off you. Don't even put it on your to-do list or your task list. Just do it. One thing at a time. And I think we're in a society right now where this is really difficult for everybody, but we need to stay focused. Start and end a project with a purpose. Keep your door closed. This was a really hard one for me, but keep your door closed during your planning and try to say no to your distractions. Turn off your email notifications when you're planning. Planning is the big one here where you really just want to focus on what you're doing. Put your phone away so you're not seeing text messages and just start and finish that with sustained focus. And then consider a do not disturb texting rule for your family members at certain times of the day, because I know if you're anything like mine, family can really blow up your phone. And then my last one is grade as you go. Now, lesson planning. I think lesson planning can really just make or break a teacher. When we aren't properly planned, it creates a stressful environment. Spend time on your planning and try to even get ahead. Internalize your lesson plans, anticipate problems that might arise, whether they're learning roadblocks, behavior issues, material distribution problems. Following this one rule can be a true lifesaver. And use volunteers. Have work prepped in case someone randomly offers to help. Let your students help, give them jobs. And finally, ask for help. And now, if you've planned ahead too, maybe you could even send things home for parents that want to help, but they can't come in during the day. Send things home with directions so that parents can work, cut, glue, whatever you need, and then get it sent back to you. Take advantage of any help that might be out there for you. But you have to be planned ahead to be able to give them time to get that done. Very often, when I visit new teacher classrooms, I get exhausted just watching them. They're walking around collecting papers from each individual student, pushing in everybody's chair, checking each computer to make sure it's shut down properly, calling on individual students to line up. Think about processes and procedures that can help take some of the workload off of you. You should not be the one leaving exhausted every day. So brainstorm ways to conserve your energy for what is most important. Think about giving students job, a student to collect the pencils, a student to sharpen the pencils, a student to make sure chairs are pushed in if that's a problem in your classroom. Maybe one to put the computers back for you. And then consider ways to streamline your procedures. Call rows to line up instead of individuals. Offer incentives for the first row that's lined up and ready. Pass papers to the first person in a row and let them pass it back, although you do have to teach that. They're not automatically going to do that without you explaining it to them, usually. And share the workload with them as much as you can. Now, in your participant guide, there is a link to some example student jobs. When I was a teacher, every student in the classroom had a job, and then we would just rotate the jobs clockwise every week. So think about that and think about, how that might help you. But look at the link with the classroom jobs. There's some examples there. Feel free to add more to that document. It is, kind of a collaborative document that we're working on. So give your students jobs. And self-care. Education can be a very stressful field, and it's important that we take care of ourselves. So if you can think back to this past week, can you think of one thing that you've done for yourself to show self-care? And if you can't think of anything, what does that tell you? You need to prioritize yourself. Here you can see some tips for self-care. And in your participants guide, the last line in the self-care section has a link to a commitments slide. So take some time later today or this evening to write down some commitments to yourself. And you're also going to see in your participant guide some CMS resources for our teachers to help make sure that we're taking care of ourselves, to help with self-care. We also have this Padlet, time management Padlet, and it's another bit.ly. It is case sensitive again, but take some time. The link to this is in your participant guide, but explore the Padlet and feel free to add to the Padlet as well. It's another resource that's kind of a collaboration with all of our beginning teachers in our department, and our mentors. So feel free to add to that. We would really appreciate it. And at this time, thank you so much. This is our wrap up. I really appreciate it. If you need anything, if you want to know more about anything that I've mentioned here, feel free to reach out to me via email, amy.e.wagner. And then please, if you would, take some time to complete the survey. It helps me with my development, and it also helps me know how effective the topics that we're choosing are. So there's a link to the presentation within your participants guide. It's also another bit.ly, BT, time, exit. So if you would please spend the last few seconds, it's a really quick survey, and fill that out for us. Thank you so much again. I really appreciate your time and all that you're doing for our students.